So this is an update on the Britney book Buzz. Her book came out yesterday. Book was #1 in pre-sales and still #1, and apparently much success for her book. So let's talk about it, as well as Jada Pinkett Smith piggybacking off of the book Buzz. Hi everyone, Alexandra here. And if you don't know me, I am a visibility strategist and I work with creators, personal brands, entrepreneurs to help them grow their visibility. And I used to be an active publicist, so I've worked with public figures and personal brands to help them get more publicity, be seen and heard in a bigger way through media coverage. And this, I think it's partially due to the actors' strike. There has been so much more drama, so much more spilling the tea lately, I've noticed, and a lot of people releasing their memoirs, right? So the actors' strike prevents actors who are part of the SAG-AFTRA Guild from promoting their movies and TV shows. And so anybody who is an actor basically is not able to talk about that aspect of their career. And so what are they doing? They're talking about their personal lives. And so it's almost like perfect storm. Everyone's releasing a memoir. Everyone is talking about their personal lives. And I just have never noticed so much buzz for books for these celebrities before. So Britney got an advance of 15 million, which is one of like the top advances for any celebrity. And it makes sense. She was in this conservatorship. She's a mega superstar and people want to know her real story. I got her book on pre-sale. I got in Audible. I just started listening to it last night. And I wanted to share something from her page, from her Instagram page. It says here, "It's happening. My book is the highest selling celebrity memoir in history, and it's only day one. Thank you to the fans who have been so supportive. Love you all." And this is, it says, my story on my terms at last. And there's a little book, a little video. It says the same exact thing. So that's really interesting. So let's take a look at the Amazon rankings. So Britney, ever since I checked last Thursday, I guess that was the 17th, 18th, the 19th, she's been #1 in both hardcovers and in all her rankings and in Audible books. So she's been #1 since at least almost a week that I know of. And so she was in pre-order until yesterday, which was Tuesday. And you see she's #1. Let's click on her book. So when we look at Britney's page, she's #1 in books overall for about a week. And she's #1 in rich and famous biographies, #1 in memoirs, and #1 in actor and entertainer biographies. And according to her, she's in the top for memoirs of all time. And like she said, it's just the first week. So here's memoirs. We've got John Stamos on there, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jada's on there as well. Britney's paperback is also on the list, as well as the Kindle, and a lot of other celebrities on there as well. Oh, Prince Harry's still on the list, and several other people are on the list. So far, she's got a 4.7 stars, 4.7 out of 5 ranking. So that's good. How many reviews are there? 1,000. So that's really good. It's a lot. So that's awesome for Britney. There's obviously been a lot of controversy with her. She's had some unfortunate and let's call them toxic relationships. And even with her husband, who she just got into a divorce with, there were some issues there, maybe that there was some abuse or violence between them. And, there's a lot going on in her life. And she's also been a victim and she's a survivor. So at least she is getting to tell her story. She's getting to speak up. She's getting to get her power back and share her voice. Now, this was a little weird Jada wrote this yesterday. She said, "Welcome to the Badass Women Memoir Club. Britney Spears welcomed me to open for her on the Onyx tour with my band Wicked Wisdom with open arms. She was so sweet and supportive. Who knew we would be back on a different stage sharing our journeys on the page? I can't wait to read your book, Britney, and I'm sending you love on your pub day. Congrats." And this was like, a little weird. Anyway, supposedly the Onyx tour was not her favorite, not Britney Spears' favorite tour. So it's interesting that Jada's bringing that up. And also, that she's piggybacking off of Britney's success, right? Like we all know, we who do work on this business, that if we ever piggyback off of trending topics, that brings more buzz for what, or more awareness for whatever we're talking about. So it's interesting that she's choosing to do that. I mean, look, I'll give her props supporting other women, and Britney Spears obviously, you know, is a mega star, and she's going to rule the rankings at this point. But let's see how Jada's book is doing. So the last I checked, she topped at 3, and when I checked on Thursday, she was at 10, and then just kept slipping, slipping, slipping. Here I'm on the second half, past 50. So currently, I guess a week and a day after her book release, she's 85 on the all books. That's the hardcover. And let's see where her books are at. So number 2 in women biographies. So I guess she's got 1 and 2 on women's biographies. So the hardcover and the Audible. And number 2 and 3 in Black and African American biographies. And number 7 in memoir. So last week when I checked, she was, I believe, number 2 or 3. So she's dropped down on memoirs. And let's see, even though her hardback is not doing so well, I gotta give show credit where credit is due. And she's been, since I checked, number 2 overall in audiobooks. So, okay, so now she's number 3 in audiobooks. Let's see. Okay, so it was Britney, then Jada, and then Atomic Habits. So this Killers of the Flower Moon is now number 2. So Worthy is number 3 overall in audiobooks. And so in audiobooks, she's number 1 in women's biographies, number 1 in biographies of women, which is the same thing. That sounds like the same exact category, but anyways, and self-esteem. And so, actually, let's just go ahead and check who else is on there. Okay, Kerry Washington's in here. And let's see, biographies of women. Kerry Washington. Oh, Viola Davis is also in there. And then self-esteem. Okay, so Viola Davis is there. And then Dairy Greatly, which is from Brene Brown, which is several years old. So that's interesting. Okay. And so maybe that's why the thing is, we try to figure out why things happen strategically, why things happen. And so her hardcover hasn't gotten the sales, but people are buying her book on Audible. It could be for a very simple reason, which is that maybe they have Audible credits and they're like, well, let's just buy her book. But would people have purchased out of pocket her book? I mean, that's the kind of the weird part, is that people aren't really, or at least as far as the rankings, they keep slipping for her hardcover. So people are choosing instead to buy her audiobook, which might be why there's this Amazon charts thing. And it says number 3 this week, most sold. So that's interesting. So maybe, and if I had to venture to guess here, that would be the combination between all of the different formats. So because she was number 2 in audiobook, that pumped her up in the numbers. Now, this is an Amazon, okay? So the New York Times is going to come up with its own list. Actually, let's see if there's New York Times is out. So keep in mind that the New York Times bestseller list is compiled from sales from Tuesday to Tuesday. And so that's why a lot of books are released on Tuesday, because the New York Times comes out with its rankings, its bestseller list on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So Britney's book won't come out, if it comes out, which I'm sure it will, won't come out until next week's edition. So this is combined, actually, let's go to nonfiction, combined print and ebook. So we've got Killers of the Flower Moon, number 1. Prequel by Rachel Maddow is number 2. Enough by Cassidy Hutchinson, number 3. And Worthy, Jada Pinkett Smith, is number 4 in the nonfiction list. Dolly Parton's book is number 5, and several other books are on the list. But so Jada's book did come out number 4 in nonfiction overall. So that's quite interesting, because her book hasn't been, at least on the Amazon list, the hardcover hasn't been doing so well. But if that combines all of the different formats of the book, then yes, I'm not super familiar with the New York Times bestseller list and how that's compiled, but if that does include audiobooks, which she's done well in audiobooks compared to the other formats, and I guess that's a good indication of why she's on that list. And keep in mind that she did top out on the Amazon list at number 3 on the overall books. So she probably did get a little early boost there from her publicity. But I am definitely looking forward to seeing these rankings next week. I would love for Britney Spears to have a number 1 bestseller on the New York Times. And Britney she's done a little bit of press. She, basically answered questions by email. She did some photos, and she's released some excerpts from the book. And that's pretty much all the promotion that she did. That's why I find it interesting, and why I'm comparing in many ways Jada's book and Britney's book, because of even though they both had a lot of reveals, a lot of the spilling of the tea, it was done in different ways. And so it is quite interesting to compare the two and see from a publicity standpoint what works and what doesn't work. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something new, please hit the thumbs up. If you want to get more news and strategies on publicity and visibility to promote your personal brand, make sure to subscribe. And remember, it is your time to be boldly seen and heard. All right, everyone, bye for now. For more help growing your visibility and monetizing your brand, go to alexanderfigueredo.com. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Thank you.